Just go ahead and get my sugar levels in order now. Just go ahead and regulate my sugar now. Because I don't know what y'all want from me. I don't know what y'all want from me. What do y'all want from me? I don't have any answers. I have no answers to anything. Nothing. I'm just going to start by saying that I have no answers to anything or nothing. But we're here. If you are watching, hey Tracy, Shondo to everybody coming in. Hey Tracy, hey Danny, hey Karen, hey y'all. Shondo in the building. Listen, I don't let. Hold on, let me get me a new. I need because I need more sugar. Hold on, because that's not gonna be enough. Oh my God! So to further regulate my sugar levels, dear God above. Brand new, listen, some sour punch, straws, the little bites, because we gotta regulate. Unopened, see, unopened. We gotta regulate. It's just prepare you. Listen, go now. Because I don't have a whole lot of good stuff. I have one good story that I'm going to talk about at the end. Hey, Willie. The rest of it, I'm losing my goddamn mind. Child. Hey, Willie. Child, Willie, just try not to drive off the road. We're going to try to keep it in order. I'm going to try to see. I'm opening this up now. Dear God. So listen, y'all. It ain't a whole lot of good shit going on. I found one good story today. I'm going to save that to the end. Because by the end, I'm going to need something to help, with everything. So we're here. Let's just dive right in. Let's just jump right the fuck on in. Because it's a whole bunch of fuck shit and fuckery and fucktitude that's going on. So let's just dive right in. This just came out this afternoon. Gonna read the headline. I'm just gonna let y'all go from there. Here's the headline. Herschel Walker leads Warnock in Georgia Senate race, poll says. Yes, that Herschel Walker, the one whose son is all over goddamn TikTok losing his fucking mind. If you've never seen Herschel Walker's son on TikTok, I ain't gonna even recommend you go over there because that shit is some of the worst shit I've ever seen in my life. The shit that his son says out of his mouth is a mess. Hey, Tanya, my love. This is what we got going on. Let me read this for y'all. This is according to the Hill. Georgia Senator Raphael Warnock narrowly trails Republican Herschel Walker in the Peach State's Marquis Senate race, according to a new The Hill Emerson College poll. Warnock, who won a special election in 2021, is now running for a full term and is supported by 45% of registered voters in the poll released Wednesday, while Walker is backed by 49% of voters. The Republicans' lead is just outside the survey's margin of error of 3 percentage points. though 6% of voters remain undecided according to the poll. Walker, a former football star, is currently the heavy favorite to win the GOP primary after earning the endorsement of former President Trump, Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, and other prominent Republicans. The Georgia Senate race is anticipated to be among the most competitive in the country. The state narrowly went to President Biden in 2020, and Warnock and Senator John Ossoff won their seats by extremely tight margins in a pair of Senate runoffs in January 2021. Trump's claim that voter fraud cost him the state in 2020 are believed to have depressed GOP turnout in the primaries and are credited in part with helping the two Democrats win last year. Democrats are hopeful that Warnock's resume, including his service at Martin Luther King Jr.'s old church, could help him repeat his win this year. Some Republicans have also voiced concerns that Democrats will go after Walker over his past business practices and the fact that he has been accused of abuse by his ex-wife. Still, Warnock will be running in what is anticipated to be a very GOP-friendly environment, an environment driven largely by Biden's ratings. Biden's approval rating in Georgia is underwater, according to the new poll, with 42% of voters approving of the job he's done and 49% disapproving. The Hill Emerson College poll surveyed 1,013 Georgia registered voters from April 1st through April 3rd. So, you got Raphael Warnock, Senator Raphael Warnock, let me, give him all of his titles, running against a person who's black presenting, some black man that don't want nothing to do with y'all black people and think that black people are the worst people on the face of the planet and is a self-soiler and self-loather. Herschel Walker, who's willing to do the bidding of the Republican Party, circa Senator Timothy Scott out of South Carolina and Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas. Now, you got Raphael Warnock, who's over here battling it out, windmilling it, and where are the Dems to help back him? Where's the Democratic push? Where's the money that they should be having behind Raphael Warnock? Where's that money? They're going to tell you, oh, we're just going to wait. We're going to wait it out, and we're just going to spend all our money at the end. Why wait? You got not only Raphael Warnock that's running here in Georgia, you have Stacey Abrams that's running for governor. You got a whole lot of reason why you need to be spending money down here in the great state of Georgia. Jamie Harrison, chair of the Democratic National Committee. But they ain't doing that. And so now we have a fucking buffoon, an idiot, who produced that demon seed and spawn of Satan that's all over Al Gore's good internet and all over social media, spewing the worst type of rhetoric and venom and vitriol imaginable. I'm telling you, Herschel Walker's son is easily one of the worst human beings on social media right now. The worst. The same Herschel Walker who has been attributed to bouts with roid rage and beating his ex-wife, beating her so bad she had to be hospitalized. That Herschel Walker. The same Herschel Walker who seems to believe, who's opposed to all things that help black people. He's opposed to affirmative action. He is in support of all of the voter suppression laws. He wants no parts of anything that helps the LGBTQIA community, although his son, who is a demon seed ascended from the ninth level of hell, is a member of the LGBTQIA community, but also hates the LGBTQIA community and hates all things black people. This is what we have to deal with and contend with. I dare not go into the deep Democratic politics that forced Raphael Warnock to take the Senate seat that would be up for re-election less than 2 years after he had won an election, because they made sure that the white wholesome boy, and I ain't trying to hate on John Ossoff, the the Jewish wholesome clean cut white boy, checked all of their boxes, got the Senate seat where as long as he wins, he can stay there for 6 years and he ain't got nothing to worry about. But us black people, oh no, you're going to work for this one and then we're going to make you work again, because Raphael Warnock took a seat that ended up being vacated. And because of that, even though he won that election, he ended up having to win another election in less than 2 years. So he had the whole fight, of a lifetime against an incumbent. Okay. And then is going to end up having to fight for a Senate seat yet again in another less than 2 years. Senate seats are 6 years long. They're even longer than the presidency. But you're going to make this black man have to, have a whole nother campaign less than 2 years afterwards. We're not going to even go into the Democratic politics that went into why they made the black guy go for that seat as opposed to the white guy. We're not going to get into all of the minutiae of that. Why would we talk about all of that? Why? Listen, Tracy, it's not worth it. It is not worth it. Do not look up Herschel Walker's son. Do not put him in your algorithm. I'm not going to wish that on nobody. Hey, Miss Baythang. Hey, boo. Shondo. He is, trust me, one of the worst and most deplorable human beings on all of Al Gore's good internet. A mess. Let me move on because I got another story. My feature presentation today is going to cause me to lose my mind. So I can't get fixated on any one thing today until I lose my mind on the whole fucking state of Minnesota. Give me a moment. We'll get there. In other news, because we're just here, I told y'all, if you ain't got nothing sugary to regulate your sugar levels, I can't help you. I don't know what you want from me. I don't know. I'm just here. It's reporting on what the fuck y'all got going on. In the great state of Oklahoma, they have pretty much ceremoniously outlawed abortion. They have thrown, basically, in literal terms, thrown Roe v. Wade out of the window and basically banned abortion from conception. Let me read this to you. Reproductive rights advocates brace for Oklahoma's near total abortion ban. Republican Governor Kevin Stitt is expected to sign a bill that will punish abortion providers with 10 years in prison or a $100,000 fine. Reproductive rights advocates on Tuesday braced for Kevin Stitt, Oklahoma's Republican governor, to sign what's been described as a, quote, worse than Texas, end quote, abortion ban that would make performing the medical procedure at any stage of pregnancy a felony punishable by up to a decade in prison. Let me read that again. It would make performing the procedure or performing an abortion at any stage of pregnancy, a felony punishable by up to a decade in prison. Let me keep reading, because y'all think I just be making this stuff up. I'm just here reporting. Y'all think I just be screaming from. Listen, when we more than 2 years in the game now with the politics of it all, and I told y'all way back in 2020 when Texas first started to do some of the shit that they were proposing to before the Texas law went into effect. I said then this is going to start the ball rolling, and we're going to eventually have states that just completely outlaw abortions and say, damn, Roe v. Wade. Let me continue reading. Don't say you were not warned. The New York Times reports the GOP-controlled Oklahoma House of Representatives voted 70 to 14 to approve Senate Bill 612, which would imprison health care providers who perform abortions at any time, quote, except to save the life of a pregnant woman in a medical emergency, end quote, for 10 years or fine them $100,000. So what they're saying is they can only perform an abortion. They cannot perform an abortion at any time, quote, except to save the life of a pregnant woman in a medical emergency, end quote. Other than that, from the time of conception, if you perform an abortion, you're going to jail for a decade, or you're going to be fined $100,000. The measure, which was passed by the state Senate last year, heads to the desk of Kevin Stitt, who has pledged to sign, quote, every piece of pro-life legislation he receives. This is happening. It's happening. Quote, if allowed to take effect, Senate Bill 612 would be devastating for both Oklahomans and Texans who continue to seek care in Oklahoma, end quote. Reproductive rights groups, including the ACLU of Oklahoma and Oklahoma Call for Reproductive Justice, said in a statement. Nearly half of the patients Oklahoma providers are currently seeing are medical refugees from Texas. Now Oklahomans could face a future where they would have no place left in their state to go seek this basic health care. Senate Bill 612 has been compared to Senate Bill 8, the Texas law banning abortion after around 6 weeks of pregnancy and incentivizing private citizens with a $10,000 reward, plus legal fees for successfully suing abortion providers or anyone who aids or abets the procedure. The law allows no exceptions in cases of rape or incest. However, critics say the Oklahoma bill is even more severe than the Texas ban. Quote, we are actually going to be worse than Texas because the bill would prohibit abortion access as soon as conception, whereas Texas allows for a 6-week abortion ban. Just a mess. Abortion advocates state Oklahoma providers were seeing an increase of almost 2,500%. 2,500% because of Texas patients coming to Oklahoma for care. And it goes on and on and on. You get the thing, you get the drift. So here's what you had going on. Texas passes their bill and says, hey, you got 6 weeks. At 6 weeks, even though a lot of women don't even know they're pregnant until after that mark, but you got 6-week window to get an abortion. After that, you can't get no abortion. Now, I told you, a lot of women don't even know they're pregnant during the first 6 weeks. But a lot of Texans were going over to across the state line to Oklahoma to get abortions. Oklahoma said, you doing what? No, we're not here for that. That's why they had a 2,500% increase. Let me say that again. Not a 2.5 increase, not a 25% increase, not even a 250% increase, a 2,500% increase in abortions in the great state of Oklahoma because of the Texas law. And so what did Oklahoma say? Oh, well, y'all got an abortion law. Y'all think it's bad over there in Texas? Hold my beer. Let me show y'all what we can do. So now in the great state of Oklahoma, at the time of conception, you are now banned from having an abortion or performing an abortion on a woman unless it is for it is to prevent them from dying in the case of a medical emergency. This is what we got going on. This is what we got going on. If that is a direct violation of Roe v. Wade, I don't know what is. But y'all allow the other side to stack the Supreme Court, to stack the circuits all over the fruited plains. And now because the circuits all over the fruited plains are stacked with pro-lifers, excuse me, with pro-lifers and people who want no parts of women having the rights to their own bodies, and people who have an axe to grind and a point to prove to their conservative friends, I have no reason to believe that this isn't going to be allowed to stand. We have no reason to believe that this won't be allowed to stand as law in the great state of Oklahoma, giving the blueprints for other states to follow and just pretty much ceremoniously ban abortions altogether. I told y'all it wasn't a whole lot of good news today. I don't know what y'all want from me. I started this out. Let me have a snack. I was eating salad on Teacher Project 2.0, and now I come here and I gotta have sugar. I don't know what y'all want from me. I have no idea what y'all want from me. What do y'all want me to do with that? Moving on. But this is what y'all got going on in these yet to be United States of America. Here's another story. San Jose police wound black man who broke up a bar fight. Keon Green's attorney says, this story is a whole mess. Keon Green's attorney says the college football player is a hero who didn't deserve police bullets. Police shot and seriously wounded a California college football player this week after a bar fight went left. Now, the wounded man's lawyer says his client was a hero who ended up taking police bullets just minutes after he might have saved many others' lives. Keon Green, 20, was shot multiple times by San Jose cops after the incident, in which even police now acknowledge the gun he had was not his. There's both police body cam footage, surveillance, and witness video of the chaotic incident at La Victoria Taqueria. But other than that, but other than the fact that Green was certainly shot by police after the restaurant fight, there's little agreement between the cops' version of the story and how Green's lawyer said it went down. Green was, quote, minding his own business, end quote, inside the restaurant when a fight broke out and someone pulled a gun. His lawyer, Adante Pointer, told the local NBC News affiliate. Rather than exit the chaos, the 6'4", 233-pound Contra Costa college linebacker stepped in and wrestled the gun away from someone in the crowd, making him a hero until cops showed up. The police yelled, "Drop the gun!" and uh, without giving his client a second to understand what it was, understand that it was the police, or to turn around and see what was going on, or even drop the gun, he was shot multiple times. Hey, Quintessential. Hey, Amber. But San Jose Police Chief Anthony Mata says that's not all there is to the story. A fatal shooting had just occurred near La Victoria just minutes before a call came in about a gun inside the restaurant, he told NBC. Cops who showed up on the scene had no idea if the two incidents were related at the time. Turns out they weren't, and had to make a split-second decision when they saw Green backing out the door of the restaurant with the gun in his hand. There is footage of it. I'm not going to show it, but you can go and look up the footage. Green's injuries are described as non-life threatening by police. While race hasn't come up in the discussion over the Green shooting, Green is black and the race of the officers who fired is unknown. The San Jose Police Department hasn't been without incident in which racism casts doubt on some officers. In 2021, one officer was fired from the department, another suspended, and another retired after an internal investigation into a series of racist social media posts. The year before, the department was criticized for its violent treatment of people participating in protests against police violence after the death of George Floyd. This is what we got going on. So you got this black man, this wonderful black boy. Thank you so much, Quintessential, for contributing to the snack fund. So you got this black college student, 20 years old, minding his own business, minding his own goddamn business. Fight breaks out at the restaurant. He steps into action, helps to get the gun out of the hands of one of the people fighting so don't nobody get killed. Police show up, and instead of trying to figure out what's going on, they tell him drop the gun. And before they even give the boy a chance to drop the gun or figure out, because his back was to the police approached him from behind, tell him to drop the gun. And before he gets the chance to do that, they shoot him multiple times. And only by the grace of God, this young man is not a hashtag and not in, a body bag. So now we can't even help a situation and help save the lives of other people. Now we have to get shot by police. Even now, police chief, you're real rich. You found any excuse you could to explain this away. So now they're saying, oh, there were multiple calls about situations in that same area, and we didn't know if he was the guy that had the gun in another situation right down the street. Did you try to find out? Or were you going there? I mean, because I'm sure that when the call came into the precinct, one said, hey, we got a situation here at the bar. The other one said, oh, we got a situation down here somewhere else. You got two whole different situations. Now you're going to tell me, I don't even got to explain this to y'all. Y'all know, y'all see and know what the fuck is going on here. I ain't heard nothing about this on media outlets. The same San Jose Police Department that has, as I stated, a history of racism, discrimination, and bigotry in their department. So much so, they've had to have people retire early. They've had to relieve people of duties. They've had to have people go on suspensions and all kinds of horrible things. They have the same San Jose Police Department that has been already confirmed to have been making racist social media posts and all kinds of things. And you expect me to give y'all the same benefit of the doubt? Because please be clear. That is the culture of that police department. And so what I'm saying to you is this. If they had all of that going on year after year after year, that stuff is ingrained in the culture of that police department. So when they went their ass out there and saw this black man with a gun, you know exactly how this went down. They automatically made assumptions, and this wasn't just no regular. This is a football linebacker, 6'3", 233 pounds, probably twice as big as these, cops who are probably in fear for their life or whatever the fuck they had going on because they don't have just a mess. Stop hiring the kid who got beat up in school to be on the police force. Please, can we stop hiring the kid who got beat up in school every year to be on the police force, to give him a badge and a gun so he can go out and wield his own, vigilante justice all over the fruited plains? I told y'all this was not gonna be this was gonna be a whole ass sugar spike edition. I don't know what y'all want from me. The young man's name is Kayon Green. That's K apostrophe AUN. Last name Green, GREEN. And that's in San Jose. This is what we got going on. I don't know what y'all want me to do with that. Unfortunately, it does not get better. It doesn't get better. I want to tell you it gets better. It does not. Here's our next story. Black teen dies in bike crash during traffic stop. Family seeks police accountability. The family of Stanley S.J. Davis III and community members are calling for the officer involved in his death to be held accountable, reported ABC News. Davis, 13 years old, died after crashing his bike as a Boynton Beach police officer pursued him. Yep, that would be in my great state of Florida. Currently, no charges have been brought against the officer. Per ABC's report, the incident occurred in December of 2021 when Davis was riding his dirt bike. The investigation report stated Davis was traveling 85 miles per hour while, quote, unlawfully fleeing an attempted traffic stop, end quote. Davis ended up crashing his bike into the curb. The report found there was no contact between the police vehicle and Davis's bike. The Florida Highway Patrol completed their investigation and found no charges were to be filed, quote, because the at-fault person expired as a result of the crash, end quote, per ABC News. Community members and the Davis family shared concerns about the report in a city commission meeting. Davis's grandmother, Tina Hunter, told ABC News that her grandson received the dirt bike as a Christmas gift and was trying it out the day after Christmas when an officer attempted to pull him over. His death has been the subject of heated discussions during the bi-monthly city commission meetings over the past 3 months. Quote, I think it was a slap in the face, a disservice, and a dishonor for Highway Patrol to come to that conclusion, end quote, a community member told incoming city officials who were sworn into office during the meeting. Quote, you all right now have the opportunity to do the right thing, to make the determination to terminate him. This SJ movement is still what it's about, and we're asking that you all pay attention to it, end quote. Civil rights attorney Ben Crump is representing the Davis family as they call for the termination of the officer involved in Davis's death. Quote, the Boynton Beach Police Department's own policy is that pursuits should only be initiated if the officer reasonably believes the person fleeing has committed a felony. We're talking about a child, end quote, Ben Crump told ABC. The Boynton Beach Police Department has honored the officer's right by Marcy's law to keep his name from being released to the public. The community and Davis's family plan to continue seeking answers from the department on the incident per ABC News. Now, here's what we got going on. The child got a dirt bike. Day after Christmas goes, riding on a little dirt bike or whatnot. Apparently, I guess he made it to the streets and was riding on the street. Boynton Beach police, started to go after him. I tried to pull him over. There is a law in the state of Florida. The law in Florida says if you get into a chase, you should not do that unless you are sure that that person has committed a felony. If you are not sure that that person has committed a felony, do not go into some police chase. That is law, because it puts the citizens at risk when you go on these extended police chases. It puts the citizens at risk. And if you are putting people at risk, people are getting injured and dying over something that's a misdemeanor. Why have the loss of a life over something that is not that serious, for lack of a better term? So you have this 13-year-old boy that was on this dirt bike. Now they said he might have been going 85 miles an hour, which I don't listen. I wasn't there. I don't know. But what I will agree to is if the law says you are not sure that that young man committed a felony, let it go. At least so that we don't have loss of life, because that young man can't come back. That's 13 years old. Now, what they saying is, listen, the police department's take on it is he died because he got in a car crash on his own. Here's the part that we're missing. Here's the small part. See, it would be easy to say that if there wasn't this part to it. Here's a black boy, a black male in this country who is 13 years old. And hell, I am much older than him. I'm not going to tell you how many years older than him I am, but I am much older than him. And I get afraid when I see police lights or sirens behind me. So what do you expect? The mental trauma and mental duress that a black male goes through when you hear police sirens behind you and see police lights behind you. You don't know whether or not you're going to make it home at that point. So saying that somebody may have poor judgment there, I mean, there's a whole lot of mental anguish going on right there. And this is, go to hell, Yakutis. And this is a 13-year-old boy who certainly doesn't have the same mental, capabilities and abilities of an adult who would have a whole lot of trauma, who goes through their own type of mental anguish and trauma dealing with police. We'll see what happens. But this is the great state of Florida, my great state of Florida, and I foresee nothing taking place. Nothing. We'll see. So now I guess I have to get to this part. This news came down today that there will be no charges pressed against the police who shot and killed Amir Locke. Let me say that again. There will be no charges against the police who shot and murdered Amir Locke. Let me say this again for the people in the back. There will be no charges filed against any of the police officers who shot and murdered Amir Locke. Here's the article. No charges will be brought against the SWAT team officer who shot and murdered, killed Amir Locke during a no-knock search raid in Minneapolis, reported NBC News. Officials say there was no sufficient evidence to suggest criminal charges be brought against Officer Mark Hanneman or the other officers involved. Hennepin County Attorney Michael Freeman and Attorney General Keith Ellison said in a statement that Hanneman's actions would have been authorized under Minnesota's use of deadly force statute, per NBC News. Additionally, the statement said the state wouldn't be able to prove beyond a reasonable doubt any officer was involved in the decision making that led to Locke's death. The attorneys explained that under Minnesota law, police officers, are authorized to use deadly force while in the line of duty to protect other officers or another from death or great bodily harm. They said in a press conference after the announcement that Locke's hand was seen holding a firearm, though his finger was not on the trigger, and at one point it was pointed directly at Hanneman. In the statement, the official said Hanneman perceived the movements as a threat of death or great bodily harm. In February, Locke was sleeping on the couch in an apartment with his licensed firearm beside him when a team of Minnesota SWAT officers raided the living room to execute a no-knock search warrant. Upon seeing Locke's firearm from under his blanket, Hanneman shot him 3 times. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey has since prohibited the issuing or request of no-knock warrants for Minneapolis Police Department. However, many believe true accountability would be holding Hanneman responsible for his actions. Jeff Storms, Locke's family attorney, said the announcement Wednesday was a, quote, disappointing day for the family, end quote, via CNN. They just have a very strong belief that the incredible wrong that happened to Amir is going to save other people's lives. They're not going to let the lack of criminal charges slow them down one bit, Storms said to CNN. Now, let's be clear. The decision to file charges against these police officers or the police officer who made the shots comes from the state attorney or the district attorney. Now, we read, you know who the state attorney general is for the great state of Minnesota? Keith Ellison, the black man Keith Ellison, the same Keith Ellison that was very involved in the George Floyd murder and the conviction of Derek Chauvin. The same black man Keith Ellison that was a member of the House of Representatives. So help me out. Help me out, people. It has now been deemed, well, I shouldn't say now, but it has continued to be evident that it is all out genocide on black people at all costs. It has been well known that this is a genocide that this country is participating in. We cannot expect there to be any help from either side because Ralph Ellison is a staunch Democrat and most would consider him to be a progressive Democrat. And him being Attorney General of the state of Minnesota, determined, yeah, we don't think we're going to be able to get a conviction. Why? Here's the thing. Here's the thing. What I want and expect for an attorney general to do, a state attorney, a district attorney, or whomever you are, is to go based on, sometimes you just got to file charges on what's right and what's wrong. And if we get to the point where you're only filing charges on what you think or you believe you're able to get a conviction on, then it has become open season, because there are many states where there are laws on the books that protect the genocide of Black people across this country. And if the only thing that you use to determine whether or not to even press charges is whether or not you think that the state law supports whether or not it was right or wrong, damn the state law. We know what is right and what is wrong, and clearly here it was wrong. You've already admitted you had no business even in that house to begin with. This was not the person you were looking for. An innocent Black man lost his life for no reason other than you all woke him up and startled him. None of this was his fault. The young man did nothing wrong. Y'all can't even try to, even if you tried to get a manslaughter or anything, y'all ain't trying to get anything. Y'all just said, well, we'll throw out, oh, well, it's nothing we could do. Nothing to see here. And so what you have ceremoniously said is, even when some people believe that they may have help or there may be some hope on one side of the aisle or one faction of political ideology, there is none. And I've been saying that over and over and over. I'm going to tell you again, the Attorney General of the great state of Minnesota is a Black man, a progressive Democrat Black man. That's what y'all got going on. A young man who did nothing wrong, followed all of the laws, went as far as to do what the white people say that this country gives them a right to do, the right to bear arms. Whatever happened to the right to bear arms? Whatever happened to the right to, I'm in my own goddamn, now that wasn't his house. You know, he was at a friend's house. But y'all said we have the right to bear arms, which means that I have a right to have my weapon on me wherever I am. I'm asleep. Y'all woke me up. Y'all entered a private residence. You entered a private residence. Made sure that you didn't try to alarm him, didn't try to wake him up, didn't try to make sure everything was cool before you went on the inside. Made it a point to try to enter silently, waited until you got inside, and once inside, you startled this young man who's wrapped up under a blanket. And as he's trying to get up and figure out what the fuck is going on, because there are voices all over the place yelling at him, Y'all see that he happens to have a gun that he legally is supposed to have. And before you made any determination as to whether or not he was going to use that gun, and even if he chose to, what do you think somebody's going to do? You in bed, sleep, thinking that everything's okay. Next thing you know, you hear strange voices yelling at you in your house or wherever you are sleeping that night in the middle of the night. What is the whole point of having a gun if you can't use it in that case? Isn't that the whole point in having a gun? So that when you think somebody has busted in your house, that you should be able to use it. Even if I go with you saying that he pointed the gun at somebody, if go watch the video, just like you say that police officer had a split second to think, that young man had a split second to think as well. And when somebody breaks into the place where you're sleeping and starts yelling and you know they shouldn't be there, guess what you have the right to do? Pick up your firearm and decide to defend yourself, unless, of course, you're black. What do y'all want from me? What do y'all want from me? You have continued to remind us that there is a genocide on black people here in these yet to be United States of America. Y'all do everything y'all can to snuff us out. Y'all are doing everything y'all can to erase us from the history books. Y'all are doing everything y'all can to circumvent our rights as citizens, like our rights to vote and our rights to live. Y'all want no parts of us. There is a genocide happening in this country. The kind and level at which, had we seen this going on in some other country, they would be sending troops over there. There will be all kinds of op-eds written about the horrible genocide going over in XYZ country if this were another country doing this. But it's here. And we dare think that America would be participatory in some sort of genocide. But that's what's happening. This is happening, whether or not you choose to think so. And there is not a single person that is in a position of power that is trying to help you. I just want to give you all, I want y'all to imagine being one of two people. Either one, imagine you are Amir Locke who went to sleep that night thinking, oh, okay, I'm just going to sleep. I'll wake up in the morning. I'm going to do what I got to do. And you get woken up, startled, woken up with a bunch of people yelling in the middle of where you're sleeping, talking about get up. And as you're trying to get up, now that because I'm going to try to get up and thinking, okay, I need to take you out. I ain't going to take you, let you take me out. I'm going to take you out first. Because I don't know who you are. And I don't know why you're here. And next thing you know, you lose your life. I also want you to think about Amir Locke's mother and father who get a phone call saying that their child is dead. And oh, by the way, that wasn't the right person that we weren't looking for him at all. Oh, by the way, he didn't do anything wrong. He just happened to be sleeping. Oh, by the way, there's no consequences or repercussions for that. Just a mistake. It's okay. We just keep going on. You know, the life of your child doesn't matter. The life of your loved one doesn't matter. Just a mistake. Mistakes happen all the time. Can't make an omelet without breaking an egg. Every cook will tell you that. What are you supposed to feel? sad days, sad times. It is disgusting. It's disgusting what we have going on in these yet to be United States of America. But it's gonna be mum's the word. Mum's the word out of people in positions of power. Nobody's gonna say anything, and the genocide will continue. I can't even tell you to try and stay safe and be safe because they've proven nowhere is safe. Once again, no charges will be filed against the murderers of Amir Locke. And the genocide continues. I'm going to end this on a good note and a happy note because I know we've been all sugar spike, sugar spike, sugar spike, sugar spike, sugar spike. So I will end this on a happy note, on a good note. So we do have some good news. Do have some good news. On a happy note, where's my happy story? In the great state of Wisconsin, right next door to Minnesota, where they are damn near ground zero for the genocide, when you got Philando Castile, you got George Floyd, you got Dante Wright, you got Amir Locke, and you have countless scores of other Black men and women who have been murdered in the great state of Minnesota as of late. Just next door, we do have good news in the great state of Wisconsin. Milwaukee has elected its first Black mayor in 176 years. Milwaukee made history by choosing its first Black mayor in the city's history on Tuesday. Voters overwhelmingly cast their ballots for Cavalier Johnson, a 35-year-old alderman who was already serving as the city's interim mayor. Johnson, a Democrat, will now serve out the remaining 2 years of former Mayor Tom Barrett, who resigned in December after 18 years in the job to become the Biden administration's ambassador to Luxembourg. The Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel reported that Johnson overwhelmed his challenger, former Milwaukee Alderman Bob Donovan, by a 72 to 28% margin. Now he faces challenges of governing between now and the city's next election in 2024. That is our good news of the day. That is listen, I got to call it as I sees it. Cams, if they do wrong over there, I got to call it. So I calls it as I sees it, sir. Over there in your great state of Minnesota, there's a whole genocide. Cams, can you check in with me every day so I can make sure that you're still alive? Because you're over there at ground zero, and I need to make sure every day. Can you just check in? Just check in every day. Say, hey, El Teddy, I'm here. Just want to let you know. Mark myself safe after living in America yet another 24 hours. They should have that designation on the doggone Facebook. You know how they say mark yourself safe after whatever little thing. Mark myself safe after living in America for 24 hours. And so it continues. That's all I got for y'all today. I've been on here an hour. I ain't want to be here too long, but I've been on here an hour. Let me get up off here. I thank y'all for being here. Listen, y'all know I love doing my politics of it all. Might come back on Friday. Anyway, as I always say, I love y'all. Put some Shondos in the chat now. Put some Shondos in the chat. I love y'all. I love on y'all. Thank you all for being vocal, present, and active. Thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for any and all contributions that you make to the channel. Thank you so much, Quintessential, for your contribution to the snack fund. They are much obliged and much appreciated. Y'all know y'all be rocking with me, and I love y'all for it. Um, I'm gonna come on back on Friday. You know I'll be here Saturday morning for Silly Saturday. But listen, I'm here for y'all. Y'all know I'll be here. Listen, I'm gonna do. My life is so busy right now, but I'm determined to do better. Anyway, Yocrates over there trying to call me old. Don't be calling me old. Anyway, I got a great tweet um in my inbox from a gentleman who was one of the producers for the HBO special, the Gerard Michael, excuse me, HBO special. And he was, he had a blue check or whatever, but he said he watched our panel discussion, and he said he loved the panel discussion. He said he said he loves, when people have whole discussions on the stuff that they do. He said it was great commentary, and he told me to tell those people involved that he loved what we did with that panel discussion, and we had a good time bringing it to y'all the other day. Thank you to Cams and It's Me D and Darren Green show for coming on with me and doing that. Did I leave anybody out? No, it was just us four. All right, so that's all I got for y'all. Y'all know I'll be back. I'm gonna come on back. I'm gonna come on back. That's all I got for y'all. Until next time. Thank y'all for coming. Y'all drive safely. I'm about to go have a drink. Y'all drive me to drink. I'm out. Love y'all.